darkness doesn't always live in abandoned houses or lonely forests. Sometimes, it wears lipstick. Sometimes, it laughs like music. And sometimes, it hides behind the beautiful faces of three girls who sold more than their bodies, they sold their souls, one night at a time. This is not just a story about money and men. This is a story about friendship, betrayal, secrets, pain, and survival. And tonight, the truth will walk naked. This is the untold story of three hookup girls. You're welcome to Nightfall Tales by Wura, where stories come alive, gripping your soul till the very last word. Stay with me, this one will shake your heart. The city of Lagos never sleeps. At night, the horns of impatient drivers mix with the beats of Afrobeat from street bars. Neon lights flicker, painting the streets with false promises. Beneath that glitter, three girls walked hand in hand: Amara, Sade, and Bella. Amara was the leader. Slim, tall, with a smile that could melt the heart of any man. But behind that smile was a wound that never healed. She carried herself like a queen, yet deep down, she was always running from something. Sade was different. The youngest. Only 19. She still had that innocent look, like someone who should be in school, not in the arms of strange men. But hunger had a way of rewriting destinies. She had lost her father and had a sick mother to care for. The streets became her only classroom. Then there was Bella. Loud, fearless, and wild. She lived for the night. Money, champagne, men in flashy cars, that was her world. To her, life was a game, and she played it with no shame. That night, they stood outside a popular club in Victoria Island. Expensive cars kept pulling in, men stepping out in suits, perfume filling the air. The girls knew their night had just begun. "Tonight we cash out," Bella said, adjusting her red dress that hugged her body tightly. Amara nodded, scanning the crowd. "But we must be careful. Something feels strange tonight." Sade shivered. "Strange how?" Amara didn't answer. She had learned to trust her instincts, and tonight, those instincts whispered danger. Minutes later, a black SUV pulled up. Out stepped three men. Tall, rich-looking, their presence commanding attention. The kind of men that never look at price tags. Bella's eyes lit up immediately. Jackpot. The men noticed them, and within minutes, words were exchanged, smiles shared, and doors opened. The girls entered the SUV, their laughter echoing into the night. But none of them knew that this ride was the beginning of everything. The night that would change their lives forever. The SUV sped down the road, smooth and silent. The men introduced themselves: Chief Daper, Kelvin, and Tunde. Wealth dripped from their accents, their watches, their colognes. Bella flirted loudly, leaning on Kelvin's arm. Amara watched quietly, studying every move. Sade sat in silence, her heart pounding. Soon, they arrived at a mansion by the water. The gates opened slowly, revealing a compound bigger than anything Sade had ever seen. Inside, the air smelled of roses and expensive wine. Music played softly. Lights glowed golden. Everything screamed wealth. The men poured drinks. Laughter filled the living room. Bella danced, fearless as ever. Amara pretended to smile, but her eyes kept scanning the security cameras on the walls, the strange-looking locked doors down the hallway. Something wasn't right. At some point, Chief Daper leaned close to Amara and whispered, "You girls don't know what you're in for tonight." The words sent chills down her spine. Meanwhile, Sade excused herself to the bathroom. On her way, she passed one of the locked doors. She paused. From inside, she heard a sound. A faint cry. Like someone begging. Her heart froze. She pressed her ear closer. Yes, it was definitely a cry. A woman's voice, weak and broken. Sade stumbled back, her hands shaking. What was this place? Before she could move further, a guard appeared from nowhere. "You lost?" he asked with cold eyes. Sade forced a smile. "Bathroom." The man pointed silently, watching her until she entered. Inside the bathroom, Sade leaned against the wall, tears filling her eyes. She wanted to tell Amara. She wanted to run. But how? When she returned, Bella was already sitting on Kelvin's lap, drinking champagne like water. Amara, however, noticed Sade's pale face. She touched her hand softly. "What happened?" she whispered. Sade opened her mouth, but before she could speak, Chief Daper clapped his hands. "Ladies, the real party begins now." The doors to the hallway opened. And what stepped out made the girls freeze in terror. From the hallway, 4 masked men walked out. Their faces hidden, their movements sharp and controlled. They weren't here for fun. They were here for business. Bella laughed nervously. "Is this some kind of joke?" But Amara knew. This was no joke. Chief Daper stood up slowly. His smile was gone now. His voice turned cold. "You girls thought tonight was about money. About champagne. About men in suits. But let me tell you, nothing is free. Not in this city. You came into our car willingly. You walked into this house willingly. Tonight, you belong to us." Sade's heart almost stopped. She gripped Amara's arm, her body trembling. Bella, bold as ever, stood up. "We're not your slaves. You can't keep us here." But before she could take another step, one of the masked men grabbed her roughly, forcing her back into the chair. Amara's mind raced. Her instincts had been right all along. This wasn't an ordinary hookup. This was a trap. The girls exchanged terrified glances. Whatever was happening in this house was bigger than anything they had ever imagined. And as the locked doors in the hallway creaked open again, revealing shadows of other girls who looked broken and lifeless, Amara, Bella, and Sade realized they were standing at the edge of a nightmare. This was not just another night. This was the night their lives would change forever. The air in the mansion grew heavier. The laughter was gone. Only silence and the sound of footsteps echoed in the wide room. The masked men stood like statues, guarding the exits. The 3 girls sat frozen, fear painting their faces. Bella's boldness faded as her eyes darted across the room, searching for an escape. Then, a sound broke the silence. A cry. A woman's cry. The same sound Sade had heard earlier, now louder, clearer, more desperate. It came from one of the locked doors down the hallway. The sound of chains rattling followed. Sade gasped. "There's someone in there." Chief Daper smirked. "Ah, you heard her? She's been here for weeks. Don't worry, you'll meet her soon enough." The girls exchanged terrified glances. Bella's voice trembled. "What do you want from us?" Kelvin, the youngest of the men, stepped forward. His eyes were cold. "We don't want your money. We want your obedience." At that moment, one of the masked men dragged a girl from the hallway. Her clothes were torn, her face swollen from beatings, her eyes empty like she had seen death itself. The girl collapsed on the floor, sobbing. "Please, don't do this, please." Amara's heart cracked. This wasn't just a hookup gone wrong. This was a syndicate, a network that used young girls like commodities. Amara squeezed Sade's trembling hand. In that moment, she made a silent vow. "We are not going to die here. I will get us out." But the question was how? The men grew busy, whispering to each other, making phone calls. The masked guards remained by the doors. Amara's mind raced. She had always been the protector of their trio. Tonight, she knew she had to think fast. She leaned closer to Bella and Sade, whispering so softly their lips barely moved. "Listen. They are watching us, but they don't know us. We must stay calm. Pretend to cooperate. Look for an opening. That's the only way we leave alive." Bella's eyes widened. "Are you crazy? They'll kill us." Amara's grip tightened on her wrist. "If we panic, we're already dead." Just then, Chief Daper's phone rang. His face darkened as he picked it up. Yes. I told you not to call me tonight. No mistakes this time. The buyers are ready. Buyers? The word made Amara's stomach turn. She now understood. They weren't just trapped. They were about to be sold. She forced her expression to remain neutral, though her blood boiled. She glanced at Sade, who looked like she was about to faint. The youngest of them all, she was shaking uncontrollably. Amara leaned to her ear. Be strong. Don't let them see your fear. Trust me. Meanwhile, Bella, though trembling, still had her fiery spirit. She whispered, if we're going to escape, we need a weapon. Anything. Her eyes scanned the room, landing on a broken bottle on the side table. Her mind was already racing. The plan was forming, but time was slipping away. Night grew deeper. The men drank more, laughing among themselves, as though the girls were invisible. The guards, however, never moved. Amara whispered again. When I give the signal, we strike. Sade, run for the door. Bella, grab the bottle. I'll distract them. Bella nodded, fire burning in her eyes. Sade shook her head. I can't. They'll kill us. Amara cupped her face gently. Sade, listen. You're the fastest. You're the youngest. If one of us must make it out alive, it's you. If anything happens, run and don't look back. Tears filled Sade's eyes, but she nodded slowly. Suddenly, one of the men, Kelvin, grabbed Sade's arm roughly. This one. Bring her to me. Sade screamed, struggling, but the guard tightened his grip. That was the moment. Now! Amara shouted. Bella smashed the broken bottle against the guard's arm, slicing his skin. He roared in pain. At the same time, Amara leaped forward, pushing Kelvin backward into the glass table. The crash echoed through the mansion. Sade broke free and dashed toward the door. The guards rushed after her, but the sudden chaos threw them off. For the first time, the mansion was filled with more than fear, it was filled with resistance. Blood dripped. Glass shattered. Screams filled the air. And in the middle of it all, 3 girls who were once victims stood up to fight for their lives. But the battle had only just begun. The living room had turned into a battlefield. Shattered glass crunched beneath feet. A broken bottle gleamed red with blood. Bella, panting heavily, clutched the jagged bottle like a warrior with a sword. Her eyes burned with rage. You touch us again, and I swear, I'll kill you, she screamed. Kelvin staggered up from the broken table, blood dripping down his forehead. His eyes were no longer playful, they were filled with murder. You think you can fight us, he hissed. Before he could strike, Amara grabbed a wine bottle from the table and smashed it against his chest. The sharp edge tore his shirt. He stumbled, cursing. Meanwhile, Sade had almost reached the door when 2 masked guards caught her, dragging her back inside. She screamed, kicking and fighting, but their grip was iron. Amara's heart sank. Their attempt had failed. Chief Daper clapped his hands slowly, mockingly. Bravo! You have spirit. But spirit won't save you. You girls don't know who you are dealing with. With a cold smile, he pointed at the crying girl who had been dragged out earlier. Ask her what happens to girls who disobey us. The broken girl lifted her head, tears streaming. Her voice was barely a whisper. Run, if you can, before they take you away. And just like that, hope began to slip through their fingers. Hours crawled by. The girls were forced to sit, guarded closely. The men drank again, as if the chaos never happened. Amara's mind worked non-stop. Escape seemed impossible now. But she noticed something. Kelvin, though furious, kept stealing glances at her. There was something in his eyes, not just anger, but something softer. She decided to use it. Leaning closer, she whispered, "You don't have to do this. You're not like them, are you?" Kelvin stiffened. Shut up. But she saw the flicker of hesitation. Amara pressed on. I can see it in your eyes. You're trapped too. You're not like Chief Dapo. Help us, please. Kelvin's jaw tightened. He turned away, but his silence was louder than words. Meanwhile, Bella's patience snapped. Enough. You men are cowards. Selling girls like animals, she shouted. Chief Dapo stood and slapped her hard across the face. The sound echoed like thunder. Bella fell to the ground, blood trickling from her lip. Open your mouth again, Dapo snarled, and I'll make sure you never speak again. Sade rushed to Bella's side, sobbing. Please, please stop hurting us. Chief Dapo smirked. No. You don't beg me. You earn your freedom. And only one of you will get that chance. His words cut like knives. One of them? What did he mean? The night grew darker, and the game grew crueler. Chief Dapo's men dragged out a metal box and placed it on the table. When he opened it, the girls gasped. Inside were passports, money, and phones. You see, he said coldly, freedom has a price. Only one of you gets to walk out of here alive. The rest, stay. Amara's blood froze. He was turning them against each other. Bella pushed herself up, wiping blood from her lip. You want us to fight each other, she spat. Dapo smiled. No. I want to see who values life the most. One girl can leave, but she must choose. The girls stared at one another. The room grew heavier with silence. Sade shook her head violently. No. I can't. I can't leave you two behind. Tears streamed down her face. Amara, her voice trembling, whispered, this is a trap. He wants us divided. Don't fall for it. But Bella's face hardened. She looked at the money. The passports. The door. For the first time, doubt flickered in her eyes. Was she thinking of choosing herself? The tension snapped like a whip when Chief Dapo shouted. Choose. Or all of you die tonight. The girls' hearts pounded. Trust was cracking. Fear was rising. And in that moment, their friendship, the only thing holding them together, was about to be tested in the fire. The air in the mansion felt like poison. The box of passports sat on the table like a curse, daring them to destroy each other. Chief Dapo leaned back, sipping his drink. Tick-tock, ladies. Life is short. Who wants freedom? Bella's hands shook. She stared at the money, her lips trembling. She thought of her younger brother back home who depended on her. She thought of the nights she had promised him a better life. Amara noticed the shift in Bella's eyes. No, she whispered. Don't even think it. Bella's voice cracked. Amara, you don't understand. I have nothing else. I can't die here. Sade clutched her arm desperately. We'll survive together. Please, Bella. Don't leave us. Don't betray us. Tears streamed down Bella's cheeks. She wanted to be strong, but desperation was louder than love. Suddenly, she stood and shouted, I choose me. The room froze. Amara's heart shattered. Sade collapsed, sobbing. The guards smirked. This was exactly what Chief Dapo wanted. But instead of handing Bella freedom, Dapo laughed. You see? Humans are weak. Loyalty is nothing when death knocks. Then he slammed the box shut. No one leaves tonight. Not yet. Bella's eyes widened in horror. She realized too late it had been a cruel test all along. And now, the friendship they once held was broken. The girls were dragged to a basement, cold and damp. Chains clinked as the guards locked them in. Amara sat quietly, holding Sade who sobbed uncontrollably. Bella sat apart, her face buried in her knees, drowning in guilt. Sade whispered, Amara, why is this happening to us? Amara stroked her hair, forcing her voice to stay calm. Because the world is cruel, my dear. But listen to me, as long as we breathe, we fight. Her words were strong, but inside, her heart was breaking. She thought of her past. Of how she had left home to escape poverty. Of how she had promised her younger sister she would return one day with enough money to take her out of the slums. That promise still burned in her chest. Amara knew she had to protect Sade, no matter the cost. The girl was too young, too fragile to die here. She leaned close to Bella. Listen. You broke our trust tonight. But if you still care about anyone, if you still have a soul left, you'll help me get Sade out. Even if we don't make it. Bella's lips trembled. She wanted to argue, but the weight of guilt crushed her. She finally nodded, tears rolling down her cheeks. That night, in the cold basement, the girls made a silent pact. Not all of them might make it out. But at least one had to. Midnight. The guards outside grew careless, laughing and drinking, believing the girls were broken beyond repair. But Amara wasn't broken. She studied the chains on their wrists. Old. Rusty. Weak at the hinges. She leaned close to Bella. Pull when I say. Together. They waited. The guards laughed louder. The music upstairs drowned the sound of their struggle. Amara gave the signal. Now. They pulled with all their strength. The chains snapped loose with a sharp crack. Sade gasped. We're free. Amara placed a finger on her lips. Shoo, quiet. We must move like shadows. They crept to the basement door. Bella, her eyes sharper now, spotted a set of keys hanging on the wall. She grabbed them, hands shaking. When the lock clicked open, Amara whispered, "This is it. Our only chance." They slipped out into the dark hallway. Every step felt like thunder in their ears. Suddenly, a voice behind them. Well. Trying to leave so soon? The girls froze. Chief Daper stood in the shadows, a gun in his hand, his smile colder than death. Chief Daper's gun gleamed under the dim light. His eyes burned with rage, but behind them was something darker, pleasure. You girls think you're clever, he sneered. Do you know how many before you tried this? Do you know where they are now? Sade whimpered, clutching Amara's arm. Bella took a step forward, trembling but defiant. Then kill us now. But we'll never be your slaves. Daper chuckled. Kill you? Oh no, my dear. Death is too merciful. I keep pretty ones like you alive. I break you slowly. He cocked the gun, pointing straight at Bella's forehead. In that split second, Amara made a choice. No, she screamed, throwing herself in front of Bella. The gun fired. The sound thundered through the hallway. Bella shrieked. Sade collapsed, covering her ears. Amara fell to the floor, blood trickling down her arm. The bullet had grazed her shoulder. Pain burned through her, but her eyes stayed locked on Daper. You'll never break us, she hissed through clenched teeth. Her bravery stunned even him for a moment. And in that tiny pause Bella lunged forward, stabbing the broken bottle into Daper's thigh. He roared in pain, dropping the gun. The girls scrambled. The hallway erupted into chaos. The mansion woke up. Guards shouted, running from every corner. Alarms wailed. Bella grabbed the fallen gun, her hands shaking violently. Amara, what do we do? Blood dripped from Amara's shoulder, but her mind was sharper than ever. We run. We fight. We don't stop until we're free. They dashed through the corridors, Sade clinging to Amara's hand. Behind them, Daper's furious voice bellowed. Don't let them escape. Bring me their heads. The mansion turned into a maze of fear. Doors slammed. Heavy boots thundered. At one point, the girls stumbled into a room. The sight froze them in place. Dozens of other girls, weak, battered, chained to the walls. Their hollow eyes flickered with faint hope at the sight of the three running. Sade whispered, "We can't leave them." Amara's heart shattered. She knew the truth, they didn't have time. But how could she walk away? She clenched her teeth. "Bella, shoot the lock. Free as many as you can. We move together." Bella raised the gun with trembling hands. One shot. The chains burst. The room exploded with cries of freedom. Now it wasn't just three girls running. It was an army of broken souls fighting to live. The mansion became a battlefield. Girls ran in every direction, guards chasing, gunshots ringing. Some fell. Some fought back with anything they could find, bottles, sticks, even their chains. Amara led Sade through the chaos, her wounded arm bleeding, but her spirit unbroken. Bella fired blindly, protecting their backs. For the first time, the hunters became the hunted. Chief Daper limped through the chaos, blood soaking his leg, fury burning his face. "You think you can destroy me?" he roared. "I own this city. None of you will leave alive." But as the fire from a shattered lamp spread across the curtains, smoke filled the mansion. The once mighty palace of power was turning into a burning cage. Amara grabbed Bella's hand, shouting above the screams. "This is our chance. We finish this tonight." Through the smoke, through the chaos, the three girls pushed forward, together. And as the flames climbed higher, one truth became clear. This was no longer just a fight to escape. This was a war to end the nightmare. The mansion roared with fire and chaos. Smoke filled the halls. Screams echoed everywhere. Amara dragged Sade toward the back exit, blood dripping down her wounded arm. Bella ran close behind, clutching the gun. But suddenly Bella stopped. Her eyes darted back toward the flaming living room where the box of passports and money lay forgotten on the table. "We can't just leave it," she shouted. "With that money, we can start new lives." Amara's eyes widened in disbelief. "Bella, are you insane? This place is burning down. We'll die if we go back." Bella's face twisted, torn between survival and greed. "You don't get it. We've been running all our lives. This is our only chance to escape poverty forever." Sade cried out, pulling Bella's arm. "Please. Don't leave us again." But Bella ripped free, her voice breaking. "I can't go back to nothing." Before Amara could stop her, Bella dashed back into the smoke and fire. Amara's heart broke. "Bella! No!" At that very moment, Chief Dapo appeared through the flames, gun in hand, his face twisted with fury. "You think you can escape me?" he roared. The final hunt had begun. The fire raged, devouring the mansion. Guards fell back, coughing and choking. The walls groaned as if the whole building was about to collapse. Amara pushed Sade behind her. "Stay low. Don't move." Chief Daper limped closer, aiming his gun. His eyes locked on Amara. "You could have been mine, Queen. But you chose to fight. Now you'll die like the rest." Amara's hands trembled, but her eyes never blinked. "If I die tonight, I die free." Suddenly, bang! The gun fired, but the bullet missed. Smoke and confusion blurred Daper's aim. Amara lunged at him with all her strength. The gun clattered across the floor. They struggled, fists and fury clashing. Daper was strong, but Amara's desperation was stronger. Sade screamed as the two fought in the burning room. Flames licked the walls. The roof cracked. Then a second shot rang out. It wasn't Daper. It was Bella. She had returned, her hand steady on the gun she had taken back. Smoke blackened her face, but her eyes burned with tears. The bullet struck Daper in the chest. His eyes widened in shock, blood spilling from his mouth. "You betrayed me," he gasped, collapsing to the floor. The monster was finally down. The fire spread fast. The mansion shook, ready to crumble. Amara grabbed Sade. We have to go. Bella stood frozen, staring at Daper's body. Her lips trembled. I killed him. I really killed him. Amara shook her. Look at me. You saved us. Now move. They stumbled through the burning hallways, dodging falling beams. The air was thick, choking, but freedom was close. Finally, they burst through the back door, collapsing onto the wet grass outside. For the first time that night, the cool air hit their lungs. They coughed, cried, and clung to each other. Behind them, the mansion roared as flames swallowed it whole. Screams of guards and trapped men echoed until the building collapsed in a storm of sparks and ash. It was over. They were alive. But their bodies trembled with shock, their hearts torn by everything they had seen, everything they had lost. As they lay on the ground, watching the fire consume the nightmare, Amara whispered through her tears. This isn't the end. This is only the beginning. And with those words, dawn began to break. The dawn was quiet. The mansion was gone, nothing but smoke and ash rising against the sky. Amara, Bella, and Sade sat on the roadside, covered in soot, clothes torn, eyes hollow. They had survived, but survival came with scars deeper than any wound. A police siren wailed in the distance. Villagers gathered, whispering as they saw the three women stumble forward. One elderly woman rushed to cover Sade with a wrapper. Oh my child, what have they done to you? She cried. The policeman pulled up. At first, their hands reached for guns. But when they saw the women bleeding, trembling, barely standing, their expressions softened. Amara raised her hands weakly. We are not criminals. We were prisoners. He forced us. The inspector studied them. He had heard whispers about Chief Daper for years but never had proof. Now the proof was burning behind them in the ruins of the mansion. You are safe now, he said, his voice heavy with pity. You will testify. The world will know the truth. Bella broke into sobs, clutching her face. The truth will bring back my soul, or the nights we lost. Sade hugged her tightly. But it will set us free. And for the first time in years, freedom didn't feel like a dream. Weeks later, the story of Chief Daper's empire exploded across the news. His mansion was gone. His men were captured. The three girls became symbols of survival, of resilience. But fame was not what they wanted. Amara stood by the seaside one morning, the waves crashing gently. She held Sade's hand, while Bella stood silently behind them, her face calm but her eyes forever carrying shadows. Sade pointed at the horizon. Look, Amara. The sun is rising. Amara smiled faintly. Yes, it means yesterday is gone. Bella whispered softly, as if speaking to herself, but yesterday will always live inside us. The three of them stood in silence, the waves washing away their footprints, as if erasing the past. For the first time, they were not hookup girls. Not victims. Not prisoners. They were survivors. And though the world would never fully understand their pain, they had each other. As the sun rose higher, Amara whispered the words that sealed their journey. We are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become. And with that, the three girls walked forward, into the new dawn, broken but unbowed, scarred but free, carrying the untold story that would live forever. And so, this is how their story ends. Three girls, once trapped in darkness, found the strength to fight back. They were scarred, but they survived. They lost pieces of themselves, but they refused to lose their voices. This story is not just about Amara, Bella, and Sade. It is about every girl silenced by fear, every soul crushed by greed, and every life stolen by the choices of the powerful. They remind us that behind every smile could be pain. Behind every glittering night could be a prison. And behind every untold story lies a cry for freedom. To the world, they were just hookup girls. But to themselves, they were survivors, warriors, and sisters bound by fire. The mansion burned to ashes, but their courage lit a flame the world will never forget. This was The untold story of three hookup girls.